Greetings class. I am making this video on Saturday afternoon and I have assessed almost the entire class's IRRs and RTOs for the week so far. I haven't finished group 4 yet, but I wanted to make this video to give you a little bit of input as you move forward into formulating your IOWs. I just have 5 quick points I want to make. I'll try to keep this as short as I can. First of all, many of you so far have honed in on the issue of treatment being voluntary versus coercive. This is actually a very important issue. It's not necessarily germane to the questions that you've been assigned this week, but the issue of whether or not we can successfully rehabilitate someone who doesn't necessarily want to be rehabilitated, that's an important issue that correctional administrators and treatment personnel still struggle with today, and there's also research on that issue as well. Item number 2. When it comes to philosophy, defining or talking about rehabilitation as a philosophy, my impression was that many of you had a tendency to overthink this issue or to overthink this concept. Specifically, think about this, and I tried to state this in the video I made earlier this week, but maybe it didn't come through. Think about this. What should the goals of the correctional system be if rehabilitation is our guiding philosophy? Specifically, think about what do we want to see happen with our correctional system, within our correctional system, if rehabilitation is our guiding philosophy? What should our correctional system value above everything else if rehabilitation was our guiding philosophy? So many of you shared a lot of text, and made good attempts in terms of using the literature and your own thoughts to answering the question, and those are good attempts. But I'm hoping that you can give some thought to, again, the goals and values of the correctional system if rehabilitation were our guiding philosophy. Likewise, when you think about policy, here, for that part of the question, or for that second discussion question, I want you to think about, what should correctional systems put in place in order to meet the goals of rehabilitation. I felt that with both the philosophy and the policy parts of this question, many of you, made attempts to define rehabilitation. Many of you discussed what some of the problems that were identified by Cullen and Gilbert when it comes to rehabilitation and implementing rehabilitation, but those things ultimately tended to beat around the bush, so to speak, and didn't really speak to the question itself, which again is, when it comes to our philosophy, that means what are our goals, our guiding principles, our values. When it comes to policy, what are our actions? What are our rules? What should we put in place in order to, again, meet the goals of rehabilitation? In addition, please note that the discussion questions asked you to frame your responses with the community, within the community correctional system, not the institutional correctional system. Most of you, if not all of you so far, have couched your answer within the context of the institutional correctional system, and those questions specifically ask you to think about rehabilitation within the context of community correctional systems. So please keep that in mind as you formulate your IOWs if you haven't already posted them. Last but not least, you need to pay very close attention to your writing and the quality of your writing when you do your RTOs. The quality of writing isn't assessed just in your IOWs, in your IRRs and your IOWs. It's also assessed when it comes to your RTOs. So make sure that you're providing your classmates good feedback, good critical analysis, not just a response, not just a hey, good post. Most of your RTOs were pretty good this week, at least that I've read so far. But in terms of spelling, grammar, clarity, coherence, make sure that all those are observed when you're formulating your RTOs as well. I will probably not make a practice of doing midweek, as it were, videos. However, after reading 3 out of the 4 groups so far, I felt that some input might be in order to give you a hand. Okay, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and you'll, I'm sure, hear from me soon. Take care.